What started as a day for members to display their collections has turned into one of Southland's biggest events. People came from far and wide for the 21st annual Crank Up Day in Edendale recently.
What made you want to come all the way down from Marlborough to the Crank Up Day in Edendale?
We travel all over Australia looking at vintage rallies there, and I grew up in Southland, and a friend of mine at Kennington, Robert Herman, has been at me for a while to come down. So the combination of that, plus a group of our vintage members decided they'd like to come, so we got a group together and here we are.
This year's show featured special guests Peter Leach, also known as the Mad Butcher, and Dick Taylor. And with a large number of collections on display, including 100 years of Ford Model T, 60 years of Holden and 50 years of Massey Ferguson, there was plenty for machinery enthusiasts to see.
What sort of things have you seen today?
Stationary engines, the tractors, traction engines, yep, the whole lot. Vintage cars are really good.
Is there anything in particular that you're quite keen to have a look at?
No, just all of it. Traction engines mainly, quite interested in steam.
The event attracts enthusiasts and exhibitors from throughout the South Island. The Ford Model T parade was one of the day's big draw cards, with people coming to Edendale especially to participate.
They requested to be brought down this year to go in the Model T parade.
Can you tell me about the machine that you brought along here today?
Yes, I bought a Model T Ford tractor conversion. In the United States there was 12 firms that made tractor conversions for early model cars, and this is one particular one that came to New Zealand. I found the remains of this in the North Island and managed to be able to purchase it and bring it down and restore it in our workshop at Palmerston.
How big a job was it to restore it?
Well, there was quite a bit in it. We reconditioned the motor, went right through the motor, and fortunately my son-in-law has a sandblasting business, and the bits and pieces were sandblasted and painted up, and it was restored to a reasonable condition.
Aside from his Model T conversion, Noel has restored many other pieces of machinery as well.
I have a number of vintage tractors restored, and mainly the McCormick International brands, but I do have some David Browns and Fords and that sort of thing.
With many hours of work going into restoring these pieces, the question must be asked, what's the appeal? Well,
number one, you're keeping and restoring the heritage of our forebearers, and I think that is important, and it does give one a lot of pleasure restoring an old machine back into good working order again, and also you meet a lot of enthusiasts like yourselves, and they seem to be a pretty good bunch of guys.
And with another year of Crank Up over with, it's time to look back on the good work the club has done putting it together.
I think the Vintage Club here have done a really good job. They should be proud of what they've done, and keep up the good work.